Good day. This is Professor Netshitangani, the primary lecturer of the module called the Education System and Educational Management. This is a semester module, and I'm going to guide you through the exam requirements of this semester, 2019 second semester. Firstly, I would like you to note the purpose of this module. There are two purposes. The first one is to help the student to gain insight into the education system and the place of the educator and the school in local, regional, and national systems of education. The second purpose of this module is to help you as a student to gain a number of things. The first one is to gain insight into South African school system and school legislation. The second one is to gain insight into critical issues on educational provision. The third one is to gain insight into the management and governance of schools. And lastly is to gain insight into managing diversity and partnership in education. Okay, it's also important for you to familiarize yourselves with the learning outcomes of this module. We have 6 learning outcomes. At the end of this module, as a student, you should be able to explain the education system as formal framework for education provision and the composition of an education system. You also should be able to identify the components of an education system and describe their respective roles. You should also be able to explain the place and the role of educators and the school in an education system. You should also be able to understand the relevant legislation and implications thereof for the educator and act in accordance with the laws. You also should be in a position to explain the organization of the South African education system on national, provincial, and local levels. You should also be able to understand critical issues in educational provision in South Africa. And lastly, you should be able to understand aspects of management and governance of the school as an organization, the management functions, partnerships, and educational leadership, and act in accordance with the management principles as an educator. I would like to highlight a few administrative matters to you. As indicated in your tutorial letter 101/3 of 2019, examination admission only depends on the submission of assignment 1. Therefore, if you have submitted assignment 1, you qualify for the examination in this module, which is called ETH303T. However, both assignments 1 and 2 contribute to your year mark and results. We always get inquiries from you students about the scope of the examination, and I would like to inform you and to emphasize that in terms of decision reached by the college, lecturers may not demarcate or scope specific work for examination purposes. And that is important, it's policy and we should respect it. Examination questions should be based on all the work covering the notional hours of all modules, including this module ETH303T. We therefore encourage you to learn everything as per learning outcomes elaborated to you at the beginning of this presentation and as written in tutorial letter 101/3/2019. Now, in preparation for October-November 2019 examination, you should also study previous assignments and previous examination question papers and all the assignments in tutorial letter 101/3/2019. Lastly, I would like to mention that as indicated in your tutorial letter 101, 3/2019, our book, our prescribed book has got some sections that are outdated, and as such, those sections will not be included in your assessment, that is in your examination. Chapter 1, please don't study section 1.4.1 and section 1.4.2 and section 1.4.3. That's how they appear in your prescribed book. Now in chapter 2, you must exclude section 2.3, section 2.4, section 2.5, and section 2.6. Now in chapter 6, you must not study section 6.5.2. I would like, however, to make a small correction. There was a typing error in your tutorial letter 101.3 of 2019. Tutorial letter 201, where we have indicated that in chapter 6 it's section 6.4.2. It's not 6.4.2, it's 6.5.2. I repeat, 6.5.2. Chapter 9, the entire chapter should be excluded because it is part of the other module which deals specifically with classroom management. As a result, we are avoiding repetition. So chapter 9, you forget about it completely. And thank you. And on behalf of the rest of the team, which is responsible for ETH303T, we would like to wish you good luck with your exam.